We're also here with Margoon Andriba Al-Shaikh, who gives a background into the UNDP Business Supplier Development Program.
The Supplier Development Program has been operating in Botswana for 2 years now, but it is actually a global program that we run across several countries across the world. So it's a global methodology where we bring buyers, suppliers, and trained business consultants together in order to ensure or encourage large investors and buyers to source services and products locally and thereby strengthen local value chains. And we do that in such a way that we make sure the suppliers are able to provide their services or products with quality and on time through dedicated training by these business consultants over a 10-month period. So through the SDP, we then ensure that the SMEs that are on the program not only increase their business knowledge and their business management skills, but also that they have access to markets through the buyers and also access to finance, which is where Fnbb comes in. So we're very excited because those three elements need to be brought together and integrated into the program for the program to be a success.
Is this program open to SMEs, and what criteria is used to select participants? And before that, maybe you could define what SMEs are in the context of UNDP.
We follow the national definition of SMEs. There's an SME Act, so we follow that. But I mean, the most critical sort of part of that definition is really, for us, is around the number of employees that the business has. So we classify small businesses as those who have up to 20 employees, and then medium-sized businesses from 20 to 100. We do not support or we don't enroll businesses with more than 100 employees on this particular program, because we feel that if they have 100 employees, they're at such a scale already that perhaps the methodology that we've created for this SME program may not be the right one for them. So yes, there are criteria for participating in the program. And so first of all, they need to be on the radar of the buyers. So the buyers will normally have a database of potential or current partners in any given country. We then look at that list of or that database of suppliers, and we apply several criteria. The first criteria is that it needs to be citizen-owned. So that's the sort of most important criteria. It also needs to be in the vicinity of, located in the vicinity of the buyer in order to foster that sort of relationship between the buyer and the supplier. And it needs to be a value-add business, because we want to make sure that the impact of the SDP is not just in terms of strengthening that particular value chain, but that the SME then has the opportunity and possibility to expand their products or services, and also to create jobs, because ultimately the bottom line is we want to create more jobs.
As directly pertaining the MOU between the UNDP and the First National Bank of Botswana, is there a process to undergo for one to be a beneficiary?
A lot of it starts with the buyers, and SDP, we work currently across 9 sectors. But if we have a large investor or a buyer or an institution that comes to us and says, listen, I'd really like to procure more services or products locally, we will then work with that buyer to say, okay, you know, in which sectors are you? Where are you operating? How can we help you do this? And so it very often starts with the buyers, but we are an agile program, and so we also respond to the needs of the market. So say, for example, after COVID, there was a lot of focus on supporting youth and women-owned businesses. And so we have then responded to that, and we have started the Youth Connect program in Botswana. And that's in partnership also with the Russian Federation. And so that means that there are an additional set of youth-owned businesses that have been able to enroll onto the Youth Connect and the SDP program without having a buyer set up. And there are two avenues for that enrollment at the moment. One is through the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture's YDF, their Youth Development Fund. And one is through BDIH and their innovators, their Young Innovators programs. So we work with those partners and we say, okay, you have a lot of youth-owned businesses on your radar and on your programs. Which one of those would benefit from also enrolling onto the SDP? And what happens then is that we have tailor-made a smaller package, a sort of a lighter version of the full supplier development methodology for these youth-owned businesses. And so once they then graduate from this 5-month program, they then get access to the buyers and to the financing institutions who are on the program so that they can further grow. So it's a flexible and agile program where, when partners come in and say, listen, we see that there's a need here, we as UNDP say, okay, how can we help? Is there a way in which we can further adjust the program in order to respond to that need?
In Africa, help is what we do. That is why we at FNB are relentlessly driven to provide real help to you, the passionate and courageous, the creators and the optimists. These are the entrepreneurs we support, the communities we uplift. It is because of you that real help is what we do. FNB, how can we help you?
This program was brought to you in association with First National Bank of Botswana.
FNB, how can we help you?